And that's what I've learned, and that's why I continue to learn, is you have to start somewhere. Imperfect action is better than no action. So take action, start relying on other people in the community, because none of us can do this by ourselves.
Right.
Hey everyone, this is Megan and Steve here with Hustling for Excellence. Welcome to our channel. Be sure that you like and subscribe to our channel, and be sure to click the bell so you're notified when we post great content. Today on the channel, we are interviewing a good friend of ours, Drew Janos. Drew's mainly here today to talk about his mission and his story, which is really to help others. So Drew, you want to fill us in?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a pleasure to be here, and a pleasure to really have this opportunity, because this is something that I believe people need to hear. They need to hear that there is another way to live your life. Where exactly do you want me to start? Because I do have quite a lengthy story. I mean, I do have different chapters in my story, but really, what would be the best place to start?
I'm thinking maybe he talks about what was the big shift for you. You know, we won't go all the way back, but what kind of brought you to where you are now, where you shifted your mindset? Was it a big event? You always hear about, a lot of people have that hit rock bottom. Was it more of a, the water torture, drip, 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 and just kind of eventually it got to you and you broke? So kind of what was that for you? Where was that moment?
Yeah, absolutely. In my professional life. So I guess I'll start there, because that's really what brought me to Entra. I worked construction for 20 years for the same construction company. I started when I was 16 years old, working summers. Once I graduated high school, dove right into it. I learned all the trades that the company had to offer, ended up mastering most of the trades. Worked my way all the way up into upper management, project superintendent, project manager, job foreman. And I just hit a place where I reached my ceiling. I just was not going where I wanted to go with the company. Numerous times I had a very good relationship with my boss, and I'll get into that a little bit more here in a little bit. But numerous times I really felt like I asked him to move up, and I asked him to, hey, my body's not going to take this forever. I got to do something different, sort of nudges. But he really felt like me being in the field was the best place for me, because I did know so many trades, and I didn't mind doing construction. I loved building stuff. I loved creating stuff, and really putting myself out there and helping other people learn how to do it. I love doing that, but it just I didn't see myself going to where I wanted to go in life, and really helping people the way I wanted to help them. So I actually stumbled across Entra. It was actually through a Facebook ad. I was scrolling through Facebook one day, and I landed on one of Jeff's ads. I started just listening to what he had to say, just who he was as a person, him tell a story. He was very open, very vulnerable. The thing I loved about him the most is he didn't have that scammy feel that you get from everyone else. And he was just a genuine guy, talking about his life, talking about who he was, and just how he lived his life and his core values. I mean, the core values of Entra really lined up exactly how I wanted to live my life, and how I wanted to really help other people live their lives and be a better person. So long story short, I dove into it, got into the blueprint, went through the blueprint, probably the fastest that any student has ever went through it. I got through that, and I was like, holy crap, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is the freedom that I want. I want to have this independence. I want to build my own online business. I really want to start making myself known on the biggest platform that we have is the internet these days. And that's where everybody goes for their information. So I figured, you know what, this is something I need to do. This is something that I want to do. So I started investing in myself. I invested in the courses, started going through the courses, built my own affiliate marketing business, started working on my digital agency business. I was just so excited, got into coaching, got into the inner circle, as you both know. And when I got into the inner circle, it was actually kind of cool. There was only like 8 of us there, 8 to 10 people. I was like, this is awesome. Like I felt, and I still do feel like so privileged to be there, but like being there when it was so small and where it's growing now and seeing it grow that much, it just brings joy to my heart, and it just makes me want to keep going even more. And then something interesting happened. I started having really bad back pains, and really bad neck pains when I was working. And I got to the point where I actually couldn't do any physical labor. It hurt so bad. Went to the chiropractor, started treatment, started to see what was going on because something wasn't right. And then they took an x-ray, found out I had severe arthritis in my neck, and it was just shooting down my back. I had severe back pains just all the way down my back. I just could not do anything. I ended up just running jobs and teaching people how to do stuff, and for a good month. And I ended up going to physical therapy to start getting that worked on. And then in that time, Jeff reached out to me. And I know this is God, or whatever you want to call it. I believe in God. That's my higher power, as a push to get me to move outside of myself and move outside of my comfort zone. Jeff reached out to me to be an advisor here at Entre, and start walking people through the blueprint and really helping them understand what Entre is and who we are as a community, as a culture, just what we do and how we do it. And start seeing if I could help people get into what they want to do in life and who they want to be. And I at first was scared to death to make that switch and to tell my boss that I really wanted to do this and I was going to quit for a little while. I told him 3 months, and actually my boss, he's a very generous guy. He laid me off for 3 months. So I was able to be paid while I was going through this trial period, I guess you could call it, of starting with Entre and getting going with it. I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. I love working with people. I love people. I love helping people realize that there is another way to live. There is another way to really live your dream and be who you want to be. And you just have to be willing, and you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and take that risk. But I had to take that risk before I could say that to anybody else.
Yeah,
because it was a huge risk, a huge financial risk to say, hey, and Jeff actually called me personally. And when I was on the fence about it, and he had a chat with me, and he said, this will change your life, and this will help you. This will be a stepping stone into your entrepreneurial life if you're willing to take this chance and go for it. And at that instant, I knew it was something I needed to do. And I've been doing it for about 3.5 months now, 3.5 to 4 months. So since February 15th is the day I actually started. Okay. My last day working construction was February 12th. I have these dates like imprinted in my mind because I know that's
milestones in your mind. Yeah,
when I started. So I've been doing that, and I've been loving it. I love meeting new people. I love helping people really break out of that box that they either put themselves in or they were put in as children. And that's really one of my missions in life.
That's huge.
That's like, it's so powerful. I literally ran out of ink. So you said some awesome stuff. So, you talked about the community. That's, for me, that's one of my favorite parts about this as well. Just, getting to meet other folks who are out there just trying to make the world a better place. I know it sounds cliche, but I mean, everybody's
kind of why we're here,
so many people are hardworking for that too, right? I mean, like, you were a hard worker before this, like you said. I mean, construction's not easy. You did it for 20 years. You don't get the days off. It's raining. It's this, it's that. Mm-hmm. It's hard. And like, obviously your body started to pay for it, at a young age. And, yeah, you're still working hard now. And I feel like your impact is so much bigger, your reach, right? Because on the job, sure, you can take that new guy and, maybe mentor them a little bit, 1 or 2 people. But with this, you're able to touch, anybody that has access to basically the internet. So, I mean, I find that's really it's awesome, really. I mean, just to kind of think about how many people can see your message and hear your message and be like, you know what, man, he had some issues too, just like me. I can do something. I can change. I can get out of my head. So that's awesome. I know you wanted. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, that's a great point, because I think so many people are kind of like they're married to their story. Well, I can't because of this, or I can't because that. But you are the perfect example of why none of that is true. And if people would just learn to step outside themselves and take a chance, take that risk, they could grow and become so much more than what they currently are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I like to think of live with your past, not in your past.
Yeah,
because all of us have a past.
Right. Yeah. That is really well said. I like that. Because, I look at the past, and if I didn't make those mistakes or have some of those successes and different things, that makes me who I am. Right. And, the mistakes, as long as I learn from them and kind of can grow and, change direction when I need to, I'm like, okay. So you have to go through some of that stuff. But that's very well said. You just don't live there. Hey, I'm going to use it. I'm going to take from it what's good, and then I'm going to move on and grow and build from that. So great words there. Appreciate that. I know before the call, you and I were kind of chatting it up a little bit about something you said, breaking generational curses. I'm going to give you a little time to kind of explain that and unpack that, because I just think that before, you and I were talking, that's really powerful. And I know it's same for myself. I'm raising a few children, and, it's kind of those things that we try to, make sure, that our kids think a little differently. Right. And we're giving them a better mindset maybe than we had, or not to say anything about our parents, maybe they did the best they could with what they had at the time, but I feel like we have so many resources available, like we should do better. Right. And so absolutely. I know you spoke a lot about that. So I'll let you kind of take that away and kind of tell us what you meant by breaking generational curses.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go a little bit back into my story, because that'll sort of set the stage for exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm a recovering alcoholic and pill popper. I wouldn't call myself a drug addict, because I never really got into the hard drugs like cocaine or heroin or anything like that. But I was at the point where I was killing myself slowly, actually slowly to begin with, and really quick at the end, because I felt it. So it was back in 2000, I think probably around 2010, when I really started getting into the heavy addiction, as far as alcohol and pills. And my life was not really where I wanted it to be. I had no control. I just really felt like I needed something more in life. And I never felt comfortable in my own skin. I never felt like I fit in anywhere. So I just turned to alcohol because it worked for me. It really helped me feel like I was a normal person. It helped me feel like I could really function, and I could really be whoever I wanted to be. So I really started going hard into it. And I think my wife and I were married probably around, so we got married in 2007. So it was like 3 years into our marriage. And then we ended up having our first son in 2013. And he's 7 now. And I remember I was pretty heavy into my addiction then. I just was going downhill quick. I didn't know how to manage life without alcohol. I was drinking probably literally every day, probably about a fifth and a half of vodka, going to work drunk, starting about 6 a.m. It was just a part of my life. It was who I was. It's what I had to have in order to function and be a person.
Right.
And I do regret to say, I missed out on my first son's birth because I was drunk. And I just was not present. I was there, but I was not there. So fast forward a little bit, my wife really got to the point where she did not know what to do for me. She knew that I was drinking a lot. I don't know if she knew the extent I was drinking. She was currently working at a dental office. So she worked in the dental field for 15 years. And we would send our son to daycare, and I would pick him up from daycare every day and take him home. And obviously I was not in the state to be doing that. And that's another thing that I do regret. But really, she just got to the point where she just did not know what to do. She was thinking about leaving me. She just, I would get to the point where I'd be okay for a little bit, and then I would drop off again. Then I think I would be okay. But it was just to the point where I was destroying my life, not only my life, but my boy's life, my wife's life, and any relationship that I had, to the point where it was just about me. And I just wanted what I wanted, and I was going to get it no matter what. And alcohol was the center of that. And alcohol was ultimately my God. That's really what it was to me, because it really solved all my problems. which I thought. So I thought I was doing a really good job hiding it at work. It was 2016. So I was pretty heavy, drinking pretty heavily through those years, 13 to 16. My boss confronted me several times, and this is the same boss that I talked about earlier, just about my drinking, how I was doing with it, because he could see there was a problem, and he got a lot of complaints from a lot of coworkers.
Right.
And then it came down to the final straw. I was working at a job downtown. It was a Thursday. I believe it was November 18th, 2016. And that was the day he confronted me. And he came up to me. It was after work one day. I believe it was a Thursday. And he said, "Hey, I got a 90-day treatment facility waiting for you. I know you've been drinking heavier and heavier." At that point, I was just lost. I mean, I barely remember that conversation, but I do remember it, to the point where he said, either you find another job and you start doing something else, or you go to this treatment facility that I have set up for you, which is extremely rare. You don't find treatment facilities that are just opened up to people. They're usually about a six-week wait to get a bed, especially in the area we live in. Addiction runs rampant. There's a lot of people that are struggling with that. So in that moment, I had to make that choice to break that curse and start breaking that curse, because I didn't know what to do. I knew I needed to stop drinking. I just didn't know how. I didn't know how to do that. So I took him up on his offer, and I made that choice right there. He went home with me. We talked to my wife. It was that Monday. I believe I went through the weekend, because I didn't have the bed till Monday, which was the 21st of November 2016, and that is my sobriety date. I went into treatment, and I haven't touched alcohol since then. And going back to the generational curses, my father was an alcoholic and a drug addict. His father was a highly abusive alcoholic, and just was a horrible man. And then his sister was an alcoholic, and she just recently passed away from a brain aneurysm because she wouldn't stop drinking. Wow. His brother's an alcoholic, and I just knew there was something that I needed to do to stop that. And I felt a burden when I got sober, and when I started going through treatment and realizing what I had done and who I'd become. I realized I did not want my boys to experience that. I have a 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old boy. And I don't want them to ever experience that. Society and statistics tells me that one of my boys is going to be an alcoholic. But that's really the path they're going to have to take. And I believe that that's the path I had to take, and I wouldn't be who I am today and where I am today if I never went down that path, to help people with that problem, and to help people realize that there is a way out, and there's something that you can do more, and there's a community to help you. So I am making that decision, and that's my declaration, and my mission is to break that generational curse for my sons, not just with the addiction, but with the mindset and with the society telling us how we need to live. I want to give them that choice and let them know that it is their choice and who they want to be and what they want to do. And them seeing me going from construction and now working at home as an entrepreneur is a huge step. And they still ask me what I do. Like, are you going to go to work? I'm like, no, I work from home now. Like, it's very confusing to my 3-year-old. But I mean, I think God gave me a second chance. He gave me a second chance with my 3-year-old boy, because I was present for his birth and actually conceived him in treatment, which I'm saying this over the internet, I know, but my wife's probably going to kill me, but it's okay. But yeah, he was conceived in treatment. I was on a weekend pass, and my oldest son told me one day, he said, "Dad, I'm going to be a big brother." And that was like huge to me, and being able to be present for him and be present for that birth, and to see that because I mean, you both know that what we learned in Denver, that's the closest to perfection we're ever going to get. And to be able to be present for that, and to have that second chance to really be present in that moment was just mind blowing.
Yeah, that's
But
wow.
that's just yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's super powerful. Like I'm sitting here at the edge of my seat. I'm just
I know.
listen to that story is like, so first of all, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I just think, and to what I said earlier, I was like, man, how many people will that help? I just think about when you're able to share and kind of be vulnerable like that, it's so authentic and real and raw that it's just like, you never know who you're going to touch and who's going to relate to you. So, I mean, it's awesome that you're able to share. And you said so many powerful things there. The one you had mentioned about you made that decision, I think that's so key. You made that decision at that, to be there for your son, and I'm like, that's powerful. A lot of people, they kick those decisions down the road, right? They kick the can, but you decided. And that's, I don't see a lot of that today sometimes, to make that tough decision and stick to it. So I congratulate you on a lot of that stuff. I mean, November, what did you say, 21 November of 16. So, I mean, that's a long time. So, and I know it's kind of like, I feel like, I didn't know you then. I only knew you post that when I see all this great stuff. So it's like, I could never even picture you being that way. Cause you're just so focused and driven now. It's like to do great things. So it's awesome. But yeah, that's powerful stuff. So
I know your mission is to help others. Well, obviously I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this almost like started with your boss. He cared enough about you and to help you to say, hey, look, here's your options. There's two.
Yeah.
Choose one.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you met the man, he is an incredible person. And I thank him all the time. I actually go see him now. I haven't like taken him out of my life. It's just, he knows I'm going down a different path. He respects that. But he has a heart to really help people the same that I do. He just doesn't know it to the point that I know it, I think.
I just find that awesome. I don't hear a lot about, a lot of bosses doing that. Sure, in some industries, maybe. But in construction, I just feel I know there's a lot of guys who drink, it's we used to, out of high school, I think it's like every kid's job, right? They work on a construction site, being cleanup or doing whatever. And it's like every day after work or they're at lunch, I mean, everybody's popping beers everywhere and just like functioning alcoholics. That's what we used to call everybody, you know, it's just, so to have a boss in that industry who's cared about you enough to just kind of tell you like, hey, I want time to get straight. That's awesome that, that man changed your life, really, it's.
Yeah.
So
and I told him that too. I told him that when I started this, I said, and I told him numerous times before that he is the reason I'm alive today. He's the reason that has really gave me that push. I mean, obviously it comes down to continuing that because it's not just a one and done. It's not like you take a magic pill and all of a sudden you're better.
Right.
It's a complete daily action. And that's the biggest thing is really taking action daily. It's a 24-hour program. I can't live on tomorrow or yesterday's recovery today. Right. I have to live today. And it's a daily thing. And he knows that too. But he doesn't like his name to be dropped. He does not like to be publicized or anything like that, which I'm not going to say his name, but he is an amazing man. And the reason that I am here today is because he gave me that push. And I really made a vow to myself that I'm going to push myself in everything I do and make those decisions that are hard. Because when I get out of my comfort zone, that's when I'm the greatest. And when I get out of myself, that's when I'm the greatest. So I encourage people to really do that and start getting out of their comfort zone, start seeing where they can get outside of themselves, because I think when we get stuck inside ourselves and our own feelings and our own thoughts and everything inside our heads, we just become so limited in what we can do. So I encourage people to really get outside of their self-centeredness and helping others, because that's what it comes down to. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's the best. I mean, it's when you're going through the uncomfortable stuff, you're just like, God, I hate this. That's the way a lot of times I feel. I'm like, why? But I know in the end, good stuff comes out of it. It's just like, oh, but yeah.
Keeping that focus on what is the goal, what's the mission, and all the good things that will come out of that.
So you mentioned a couple things you're doing right now. You obviously are an Entre advisor. I mean, you do affiliate marketing, digital agency. So you are a busy man. Where's everybody going to find you? Like, what's the best place to get in touch with Drew?
So actionmillionaire.com is actually my brand.
Awesome.
So if you go there, it will direct you into Entre, because that's mainly what I promote, because I do believe in everything that Entre is doing.
Yeah.
So actionmillionaire.com, and that'll take you right into my website where you can really start changing your life if that's the direction you want to go.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll put everything in the descriptions below so everybody can, get in touch with you, whatever means is best for you, website, social media, whatever it is. Gosh, that's really interesting too, because I was just thinking about when you said that, the Entre thing, it's just amazing, right? Because it's not just it's all about, it's a total person mentality. It's not just, hey, I'm here to learn how to do affiliate marketing. Yes, we have an amazing program with that, but I mean, the physical, the relationships, it's just, that's what, I mean, I just captured us as well. So, I mean, I absolutely love it. And the community piece. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, that's what, I mean, as we've spoken before about, that's how we ended up here as well, because we've seen hey, come here, we'll teach you how to, make some money. I've heard enough of those. It wasn't what we wanted to hear anymore. I would have absolutely said, no way. We've heard too much of that crap. What is that nonsense? I think, and honestly, I think if Jeff had even started the videos in any way other than, hey, we're going to talk about your physical, we're going to talk about your personal, we're going to talk, I don't think I would have listened beyond the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Well, it's an inside out change.
Exactly.
And that's really how I related with it the most, is because that's really how I had to change my life, was from the inside out. With the addiction, with all of that, I couldn't just say, okay, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop using. I had to say, what's causing all that to happen? And I had to really dig down deep and say, okay, what do I need to work on? What do I need to get rid of? Because there was a lot of stuff I was carrying.
Yeah.
And really how Jeff explained that, it just mirrored exactly how I lived my life at the time, and still do, and strive to live my life every single day to, okay, you can look great on the outside, but if you're tore up on the inside, I mean, really, you have nothing to give. It's just a face.
Yes.
So it's really starting from the inside and working your way out.
Yeah. No,
that's really powerful. I think so many people are afraid to really look inside themselves and to do that work and to dig deep in there and see what's actually there. But I think if more people did, they would find that they have a lot to give and a lot to teach others. They just need to put that work in.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing when you had said that. I mean, I feel that that's so many folks out there. I mean, I'll just speak for me personally, but that was, you do. I mean, I had to go, inside and deal with a lot of the stuff to be able to kind of now give more, right? And feel good about a lot of things. So I think that kind of goes back to what you mentioned earlier. I don't want to go back down that because it's such a long topic, but the generational stuff and, the way kids are raised in schools and all that. So we'll save that for another interview. But yeah, I think what you said is so important, inside out, right? Because so many people are just, they're faking the funk. They look great. Oh, I have it all put together. And then they go home and, whatever it is they're doing, whatever addiction or whatever, it's just, yeah, it's not good. Yeah. So it's great to see, like you went in and you did that work. Cause that's what we kind of try to promote that to folks. Like, hey, yeah, it's tough and it's going to suck. And you may be dealing with a lot of things, but the good part about that is you're dealing with them. You're going to get resolution. You're going to let go of some stuff. You're not that baggage, and you'll be able to grow and then get into all the great stuff, kind of like yourself. I mean, everything I hear from you is just like all opportunities, right? It's all about all these amazing things that you have going on and you're helping people with. And it's just like, you couldn't have done that. You had to grow into that, right? I mean, you couldn't have done that when you were the other guy, but you changed, you worked on yourself tremendously. And now, you have the mechanism to help people. So it's awesome. But yeah, I'm just like, it's so heartfelt because I just, after having met you, a little while ago too, in person, it's been like, it's like my long lost brother, it's like, wait, so what you got, Megs?
I'm good. I'm just still taking in everything that, I've got so many notes here in front of me.
Cool. Well, hey, I'll just let, we'll let you tell us what you think here as we kind of wind it down a little bit. I mean, any words of encouragement for folks or anything you want to say before we kind of wrap this thing up?
Yeah. So yeah, if anybody is encouraged by this, I mean, definitely look me up. And I post a lot in EntreNation and EntreNation Elite because I am there to help people. I am there to really be that light that people can be drawn to. But really, I think the biggest message is don't give up and keep taking action. Take action every single day. And that's really my message, is take action in your life. Because if you don't start somewhere, you're not going to go anywhere. And that's what I've learned, and that's what I continue to learn, is you have to start somewhere. Imperfect action is better than no action. So take action, start relying on other people in the community, because none of us can do this by ourselves.
Right.
I know I can't do it by myself. I can't do anything by myself. I need my kids to constantly remind me how to live my life. And they're there for a reason. And I love it. I love spending time with my kids. I love really learning from them, learning something new every day from them, and having, like, my 3-year-old just remind me it's okay to be myself, and it's okay to have that not be afraid of anything kind of faith.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't that crazy too? Like, kids know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why is it that adults, where along the way do we lose that? And why have we lost that?
Yeah.
And why does it take us to look at, little kids to realize, hey, kids have got it right. Maybe we need to act more like kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. There's no, they're so carefree, no stress. They're just bopping down the hall, walking. They have fun doing anything, right? And it's just like, but at some point, we kind of get pigeonholed, and all of a sudden are taught about why we should be stressed about this or stressed about that. But that's but I love what you said there, and I think that's perfect. Take action every day, but imperfect action, right? It's how we beat ourselves up so many times if it's not perfect. But I'm like, hey, long as you're taking that action, moving forward, make a little mistake, you can make adjustments. That's so, but that was awesome.
They're a part of life, and I don't even like looking at them as mistakes. I like looking at them as learning experiences.
Very
because
true.
If you make a mistake, really you're going to learn from it, and you're going to do something different the next time, right? And sometimes we have to make numerous mistakes on the same topic.
Yeah, that's actually so true. That's one of those things that I know Meg's kind of gets me with that, because I'm trying to work on some of those things, right? And not necessarily look at it as a mistake, because like you said, it's basically just, it's an adjustment, or it's it's what Todd had talked about, being ineffective or effective, right? So it's not always right and wrong. It's at this point in my life where I'm trying to go, certain things are more effective than others. So yeah, I like that. Thanks for catching me. So,
all right, Drew, any other last words?
No, I really appreciate this opportunity, and I love you guys.
No, we love you too, and we will definitely follow this up with another interview, because I know there's lots more we have to talk about with you. So all right, all of you out there, leave us some comments. Let us know how awesome you think Drew is, and when we should have him back on again. We will have all of his information in the description as well, so you can check him out. And we will see you on the next video. So keep hustling for your excellence.